Yeah, it's just like Greg's always said. The margins are very thin. When they fall behind early, then you're chasing the game so early in the game. But then last week they scored first and still gave up they gave up a tying goal.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I know they always say it's a process, but this really is a process here to get to break through on the right side here.
Yeah, we can bring up the chart. The LA Galaxy have scored first 3 times this season out of their first 14 games. 3 times in only one of those games, and that was last weekend, did they actually walk away with anything considered to be a point. So they've gotten 1 point so far from the 3 games that they have scored first in. The first one was they scored first against Orlando, ended up losing that game. They scored first against Philadelphia, ended up losing that game. And the Galaxy scored first against LAFC. The one thing I will tell you is that the last 2 games the LA Galaxy have scored first in, and that is a trend that has certainly reversed itself whenever you look at what happened on the other side of that chart, which is allow the first goal. So 11 times so far, they have allowed the first goal, 8-3 whenever that happens, outscored 22-7 whenever that happens. The LA Galaxy, as of right now, when they score first, Damian, still being outscored because, of course, what season wouldn't allow this to happen? But just 7-5 instead of looking at like a 22-7 or a 3-1 ratio is more like a 3-2 ratio, right? So it's a lot closer. So scoring first, as cliche and easy as it is, and Greg and I have this conversation usually, I don't know, once every couple of weeks about scoring first. It's such an easy stat to sort of sit there and say, well, if you just score first, you can win. It's 100%. It's one of the best stats to figure out who's going to win the game. Who scored first? That's like, 90% of the time, team that scores first is going to win that game. And it just hasn't been something that we've seen from the LA Galaxy.